The other day I made this bracelet, which is a scale model of number 40 roller chain. While I was putting on the final polish, my finger slipped and the chain started spinning. As it spun up, it expanded into a near perfect circle. I thought this was really interesting, so I did it many more times. And then I got to thinking. This chain is small and light, but it's an accurate scale model of a bigger and heavier chain. I want to see the big chain spin too. So I cut off a section of the big chain and tried to spin it with some compressed air. I'm not sure if this can technically be called spinning, so I'm going to call it snaking. The chain clearly is not picking up enough speed to spin, and I think this is because it is shipped with a sticky protective grease on it to prevent it from rusting. So I sprayed the chain with some brake part cleaner, wiped it down with a paper towel, and tried again. This time it snaked a little faster, but instead of forming a circle, it formed a weird squiggly pattern. I thought that maybe the tight bends are making it harder to spin, so I tried forcing the chain into more of a circular shape to begin with. This did not make a substantial difference. I started to think that maybe the problem was that I was using compressed air instead of a polishing wheel. So I tried to spin the bracelet using the air. After a couple tries, shooting it off the bar, I eventually got it to spin. Since the air wasn't the problem, it must be the chain. So I cut the chain a little shorter and tried again. As it snaked, it again formed a squiggly pattern, but this time it was pretty clear from the sound and shape that it was hitting itself in the middle. As a last-ditch effort, I cut the chain even shorter. This did fix the snaking problem, but now, as it speeds up, it wraps itself around the pole, losing a lot of energy in the process. And I struggled with this problem for a long time. I tried a larger diameter tube, I tried blowing it from different directions, I tried clamping it in between two tubes so it couldn't wrap around. I even tried mounting the tube to a cinder block so that it couldn't shake around so much. But none of that helped. And eventually, for seemingly no reason at all, it worked. After experimenting a little more, I figured out if I hold the rod a bit of a distance away from the chain, it makes it easier to get it to spin. I think this is because as the chain is spinning up, it is hitting the rod repeatedly. Each impact pushes the rod in one direction and the chain in the other. If the rod is not allowed to move, then the chain will experience the full force of the impact. Letting the rod move more freely lessens the strength of the impacts, leading to a much more stable chain, allowing the centripetal forces to take over and form the chain into a circle. Now before moving on, I think I should mention how dangerous this is. If this thing were to come apart, it'd be like a frag grenade. And since this is not a designed use of the chain, I don't know where that failure point might be. That being said, let's see what it can do. First, I just let it go onto the ground, and it hopped away like a bunny rabbit. Next, I set up a board so that it wouldn't disappear so quickly into the grass. Then, I wanted to see how it handles running into a wall. I launched it from far, from close, as gently as I possibly could, but no matter what I did, it seemed to get more and more aggressive each time it bounced. So I tried containing it inside the cinder block, but it insisted on bouncing out. I tried to do that neat trick where you float a cylindrical object on an airstream, but seeing as I couldn't even get a roll of tape to float, I think it's a little beyond my capability right now. Lastly, I set up a ramp in hopes of keeping it in the same place for a longer amount of time. Remember to like, subscribe, and whatever else the cool kids are doing these days, because I got more where this came from. Thanks for watching.